This is my 1981 XV750. Just to give you a quick rundown, it has 08 to 16 model R6 front end, so forks, brakes, rim, bars, everything. It's got a COSO gauge. This is all really rough just to get it on the road and enjoy it over the summer. I rebuilt the engine, not completely, it's basically just a top end rebuild and a nice little refresh. It's got K&N air filter, an exhaust on it that's semi-custom. It's pretty standard for these sort of things. R6 rear shock as well, it's cafe seat and subframe. Brand new tyres. It's got Mikuni carb kit, and this thing cracks. But the only thing I absolutely hate about this bike is the starter. Everybody knows that the starting systems on these things are just junk. You spend countless hours bloody building this thing and it sounds like a bucket of shit when you go to start it. When I started building this thing, I started collecting parts for it to convert it to a later model starting system. So basically with these things, this is the gear that meshes on the back of the rotor. It comes out and it'll just smash into those gears, crank it, but then sort of semi-stay engaged, and it just ruins these teeth, like absolutely destroyed it. So this is sort of like a real bad version of it. I'm not using that, I've got a brand new gear. You need to convert these things to the later model starter is first and foremost, it needs to have a block that has this hole. That hole right there, because if you don't have that hole, your sliding fork has nowhere to go. So this is it was actually lucky that I got this bike with this engine as a spare, because I actually rebuilt the spare one because it was in better condition than the original, and it turns out that was the best move ever, because the other one was obviously an 81 and this one must have been a later model one because it has the hole. So I'm really happy about that. So the next thing you need is the new starter motor. This starter has a longer snout. Sometimes you can find just the snout and use your original starter and just change the front of the housing, but I just got a brand new one. You also need the starter clutch, one of those, about 30 bucks I think. So you need one of those. And the other major thing is the cover. This is the major piece of it. So it's actually got this provision here for the little actuator arm to sit in, and the solenoid to go on the back of that. So this is the original one, and you can see the difference. So this is actually out of an 85 model XV1000. This is a brand new gear that I've got for it, so it's brand new, I haven't even put it on. Obviously where that sits like that, and it'll engage and disengage and so on and so forth. So I'm going to mock it up. This is obviously going to be cleaned up and painted black how it used to be. This have to make more cable all the way up to the starter itself. You don't have to change much, you pretty much just have to wire it up just like this. So this red one is coming directly from your solenoid, your original solenoid, and all you do is just jump it. So when the solenoid gives this power, it also pulls in the solenoid as well. So it's easy as that. You can just do this and then run a new cable to the starter. These are obviously not the ones that I'm going to be running because that's not great. So that's why I bought this cable, and I'm going to run all new stuff, clean it all up, make it look good, put new terminals on it, and make it all nice and neat. So I was just going to show you a quick sort of demonstration of how it goes together, what it'll look like, bolt it up, and then a final little test of it cranking. Alright, this is the first step basically. So what you need is, like I said, you need this gear here, which goes against the starter clutch, the teeth on the starter clutch back there. You also need this spacer. The spacer actually faces that way, So that'll go on, and then you need the Bendix and the starter gear number 2, I think it's called. You need your sliding fork. The thread faces out, so that's got no thread, so that one will slide in, and all this actually needs to go in basically together. It's a pain in the butt, so I'm going to put this down and see if we can get it in there nice and easy, but yeah, it's Tetris. Here we go. So that's how it sits, and then the next step from here will be to clean up all this surface, fresh gasket, clean the cover up, and paint it, slonk it on, work out the solenoid and all the cabling to it. I did actually get a brand new battery. That's actually out of my race bike, that bike there, and it's done good for a little bit. I actually had a Chinese piece of crap battery that was on this, and it was just absolute rubbish. But this one was about $190 delivered, and it supposedly has 240 cold cranking amps, and I just put it on and put the plugs in loose pretty loosely, but it's still enough to build compression, and it kicks it over fantastically. Like that's also the cable I was telling you about, the solenoid there. So I'm just gonna make my own all the way down, all the way across, and to the solenoid, and then back to the actual motor itself. The earth cable is very important on these things. This will be cleaned up, painted black, slapped on, new gasket, and then we should be back on the road. Put the cover on, wide up the solenoid, all the way around there. Chuck my new battery on. Still needs a cover, but this is what it starts like now. Like, come on, how good's that? Starts amazing. Wraps this one up. It's probably about a week later since I filmed the last bunch of stuff, so I've ridden it a few times now on the road, and it's absolutely awesome. It starts great, sounds really good, it just feels reliable, so yeah, we're really happy with it. But stay tuned for more content on this thing, because everybody seems to love it, and I loved building it. I've got a race coming up on this this weekend, so that'll be cool. Hey Max, what you doing? Hey buddy. But yeah, stay tuned for more content on this thing, because I love making it, and yeah, you guys love it. So yeah, if you're new to the channel, which probably most of you are because it's pretty small, consider liking, subscribing, all that sort of stuff. Let's let it grow, because yeah, this stuff is cool, and yeah, I can show you more in-depth stuff of what I've done and what I'm planning on doing. So yeah, peace.